What is up, everybody? Circon here bringing you guys another replay cast, taking a look at the T-54 lightweight tier 8 Russian scout tank. Obviously, the scouts are kind of in the news right now because there's going to be tier 9 and 10 light tanks, and there's going to be some shifts along the side. This is going to be a tier 9 at some point this year. And some of the stats and stuff have been out already. Most of these tier 8s don't really change too much, and they just go to tier 9. Where they basically have the same kind of matchmaking. But that's probably news for another video. Today we're looking at the lightweight itself as it is currently, and we're on Redshire, and we take up a very easy bush here at, well, basically between F8 and 9. And that's a pretty safe spot to go. Like, sometimes you will kind of get shreked here, and that's because enemy scouts can sometimes do a little loop here and go back that way. Or if the enemy scout's at a really good spotting position here, they can see you go up into the bush. So it is relatively safe. I'd say about 8 out of 10 times you can get away with it easily. And as you can see, there's a lot of bushes there. But you saw there was a little spot between the trees, and that's basically where you spot them. Let's see if it comes up again. When I zoomed in just now, you can see it right here. This is actually where you spot them. This, not so much, and sometimes they're dumb enough to go up there. But yeah, it's a very reliable first bush to take from South Spawn Redshire. Again, and I've said I will probably keep saying this, the lower tier you are with max, the better scouts or scouting gets, really. At tier 8, there's so many things that have full view range and stuff like that, then you will usually get pretty shreked. Well, a lot better, a lot more shreked than you would be in lower tiers. Like, if you have a full view range tier 6 scout tank, you will be, you know, a lot more effective than a tier 8 with full view range. Because it is just not that special anymore. And of course, we're in a pretty much, you know, it's a quarter of the team is tier 10, a bunch of tier 9s, and then there's tier 8s there. We just take our sneaky shots here. You did see me shoot the Conqueror as well after waiting quite a while as he got back into cover. I did retreat right away because I wasn't sure where the scout was, but we now know that. The lightweight is here, he was last spotted at D3. So I'm not too worried about getting spotted for getting shot at. And now I'm just looking to help out the IS-3 with the WZ-120. With all the heavies, and there's also a new STRV behind him as well. He is a one-shot for both me and the IS-3, obviously, but he's actually fairly dug in here, and normally, you know, I didn't even think that this would be a real issue, but the WZ-120 is going to prove to be a real pain in the ass, because he's basically, see if I can show you guys, he's kind of like dug himself in here, and it's hard for the IS-3 to get a beep on him, just because if he wants to shoot the hull, he has to go forwards a lot, and that means that these guys will shoot them. There's still a Conqueror and Type 5 here as well. So, kind of, not really a mistake, because I could still spot this ridge line. There's no way that WZ-120 is going to go all the way back to shoot me. That's highly unlikely. So here I'm just like, oh, I gotta protect my WZ-120. I shoot on the move, kind of hoping to pick up the kill. And then going in front of the IS-3, trying to just, you know, keep him alive a bit longer, because the WZ-120 has a lot of alpha on that top gun there. And now I'm just trying to make my escape again, giving the IS-3 a little bit more time. And now we also got the backup of the 430. Try and go back and spot some people that are on this ridge line. Just, you know, poking, as you can see here as well. What I see a lot of scouts do as well is that if they want to scout a ridge line, they're going to put on the whole hull here. Like, they're gonna go all the way on top. Your view range is basically from your, like, cupolas and stuff, right? So you only have to, like, stick out a little bit to get your view range off. So this is actually not that good, right? So now my whole hull is visible, stuff like that. I mean, it's still fairly safe knowing that there's, you know, tanks there. And I probably would have scouted the TDs here already if they were there. So, but just so you know, for future reference, that if you want to scout, like, with minimal risk, you should just try and just serve the sides of the ridges and not on top of the ridges themselves. So T-54 lightweight, it's a bit of like a brawler scout kind of thing. What is really nice, it doesn't get so fucked by HE as all the other scouts at this tier, as you put into a shot into the enemy lightweight. And the turret is actually pretty good. I mean, you can't rely on it like an IS-7 turret or something like that, don't get me wrong, but it is, you know, quite bouncy, especially for a light tank. when you get shot in the front, that is, of course. Then we get shot in the back of the turret, I think. But yeah, we just keep on surfing, trying to keep these guys at C5 lit up, and maybe these guys as well. Our RT is not doing the best of jobs there. Missing like between like 5 tanks or so, missing damage completely. And the Object 430 still hasn't killed the W7-120 and took a lot of damage for it, because the W7-120 has so much backup there still. And no one of the team is really able to help out. These guys are camping the ridge layer, which is also super normal. So now we just do the double bushes. Basically, we're in a bush, and then there's the tree counts as well. And then we just, you know, try and get that spotting, try and get that damage in. So there was a nice shot, but do also track the Conqueror. The Conqueror is obviously a really nice target to shoot at. The 30 just kind of lost it there. So I'll make sure I get some more camo as I keep them spotted. Get some spotting done. We almost got 4K spotting now already, basically surfing around the same area. But now the 430 has died there, and the W7-120 is still alive, which is still a big threat to me, because even with the APCR, you know, the APCR pen is like 235. It is good enough for the hole for sure. But like hold down situations, stuff like that, with high alpha, you can, you know, break some modules as well. So now we gotta be careful, because we have no backup except for Scorpion G, and the rest of the team is trying to push the 3-4 line, or the 1-4 line. As I put another shot into the Conqueror. Now the Conqueror, obviously, really good tank, but a lot of people seem to, like, not position it very well, and the hull is basically cheesed, especially the sides, the lower plate. For a heavy tank are rather cheese. The Conqueror is an awesome tank, don't get me wrong. It's probably one of my favorite tier 9 heavy tanks. The gun is awesome, the turret is awesome, but a lot of people seem to not get along with it too well. Put another cheeky shot into the FE there. Oh, actually, now we talked about ammo types before. As you can see, I do have a lot of APCR, and I think it's about 50-50 really. It's 175 base pen, and then 235 APCR pen. Now, those pen values are actually quite low when you think about it. The Bulldog at tier 7 has 175 base pen as well. And now they're gonna be tier 9s. And now a lot of people are like, oh, but that's way too low for tier 9. And I kinda agree. Because 175, good luck versus like IS-3s already, you know? Even sides of IS-3s are gonna be a hassle with that, with 175 pen. We've all been there, that you know, you shoot the spaced armor or whatever in the sights, and if you don't have like over 200 pen, you're just completely fucked, even if you get around them. So here, the IS-3. Nice snipe there. Now, I do run food and I have obviously a pretty good crew on this, and that makes this gun, you know, kind of feel like the 140-ish gun. Longer reload, but like quite snappy. It is rather nice. But I really wish that the scouts, and the main offender of this is actually the 1390. The 1390 is gonna get a slight change in the gun. It's gonna be a 4-clip with a shorter reload, but the 1390 is gonna have 170 pen still. And I just don't know what Wargaming is thinking. Like, this is the perfect opportunity to kind of like balance the pen values out across the board. It's the same with the WZ-131, the tier 7 Chinese, with the 90mm there, has like 140 pen or so, and then 250 heat pen. Like, I feel like there should be a little bit higher pen values. Not something ridiculous, but I just think it's a bit weird that the lightweight and the Bulldog, which are 1 tier apart, and this is the end of the line, has 175 base pen, and kind of forces my hand, especially in matchmaking with so much tier 10, that we see a lot more than the Bulldog will, that you have to like shoot a lot of APCR, which, you know, I'd much rather have a better balance between the AP and the APCR. And the 1390, like, how could they not buff that? That's just ridiculous to me. I should probably make a separate video about the upcoming scout changes, and there's also a tier 10 coming up with, I think it's an AMX 13-100 or something. I think it has 100 mil. So regardless, in this replay though, we finally take out the damn WZ-120, which was like impossible to kill for almost the entirety of the match as I, you know, retreat backwards here. The Type 5 Heavy is actually under the bridge and manages to kill the Scorpion, which is a bit weird. Like, why would you stick around? Obviously he's gonna spot you, especially if you're gonna shoot. So I see the Type 5, and I know the STRV is on low health. So I'm kind of taking my chances. I can take one hit of the STRV, but I have to be really careful. Because it is a relatively speedy TD, and if he's already up in that hill, he can like kill me in about 10 seconds or so. The reload of that thing gets crazy. But the main thing I'm thinking about right now is that the Type is under the bridge. It makes it really hard for him to like turn around. If I can get to the back of the Type 5 uncontested or from stealth, he's basically dead meat. But he actually spots me there by going up, which is super unlucky for me because there is bushes here and I am going relatively fast. It's a bit of an odd coincidence that he goes up. You know, it's a bit unlucky. There's nothing you really can do about it. And now it's just kind of making the decision. Do you go forwards and take the risk of the STRV being in position already because you do get spotted? Or, you know, do you retreat backwards and do a little bit more safe? So what I plan to do here is just see if I can get around him, already get shots in him. See if the Prius is there. Take a cheeky shot into his side. Might as well. And then we take a look for the Type 5 Heavy. There you go. So I can't really find him, and I also don't see the STRV anywhere, whilst being on top of the hill. So I'm fairly confident that the STRV is not really close right now, because either I or him would have been spotted by now, because I do have this full view range going on. So here, you do have only like -5 gun depression in these things, so using hills like this, you just give yourself some gun depression, you know, is rather nice. With that -5, you know, it's all doable. But if you start playing WZ-120, stuff like that, we have -3. Knowing the terrain and using it like this, you know, will come in handy. So it's always something to think about. Giving yourself some gun depression and also shielding me from potential STRV on this side. So we just plow through the Type 5 here, putting shot after shot into him as he goes forwards for the E1. Another blind shot. I was thinking now, if he did get hit, you know, he's a one-shot. I'll try one more. I didn't get him, so I'll stop shooting for now, because this thing does not carry a lot of ammo. And we leave him on 160 health. Now, the reason why I'm running now is the FV hasn't been spotted in a while, and I shot him. And with the new indicators, he knows that I'm there. The STRV is probably still chilling around here, because he got fucked for the most part. And the Type 5 knows I'm here, because I keep getting shot at. So I'm really... the biggest alarm bell here is that the FV hasn't been spotted in a while after I shot him. So instead of like taking the risk of sniping the Type 5 Heavy again, I kind of take the safe route because it's 9 against 9 kills. So things are really even, and I'm only in a tier 8 scout in a tier 10 game. So I'd rather just take my chances later. And there you go. Just as I run away, it's like, oh yep, there's the Prius. Hungry for some vengeance, because you know, I am on my own. Especially these guys keep getting spotted. The E1 was probably spotted by the Type 5 Heavy. So the only lingering tank that could have been here was the Betchat that Snooze was playing. So I take up my old position basically, because I know I have the E1 on the left and Snooze is coming up behind me. Trying to shoot this Grilla a bit. You do miss a couple of shots. You all know how it is when you start to aim at something and then there's no ground behind them. If you don't have a silhouette, it's extremely awkward to shoot at these things. And now I think we hit the gun or so. We're just getting fairly unlucky on the Gorilla, but it is what it is. So I'm just checking to see if the Prius is coming up, the FV4202. It shouldn't be that big of a deal considering the low alpha on that tank, but I'd just rather preserve my health. Because I'll probably need to take a hit or two later in the game as well to win the game. So the Prius shows up here. I just go for the auto aim. He actually bounces. And as I auto aim, I actually manage to pen him there. And I keep the rocks between me and him. That's also always something to do if you're kind of like in panic mode or you're just wanting to make a quick getaway. And this is also very nice. I did spot him, and he actually managed to reverse into the view of the E1. And the E1 actually put a shot into him, and it manages to finish him off as well, if you take a look at the kill feed here. So he got killed off screen. But yeah, so if you want to make a getaway, just right-click on him, you know, get the silhouette, right-click on him, get the auto-aim, just shoot, and don't look backwards, look in front of you as your turret is already facing his way. That's all you can really do. And just try to, you know, maneuver as best as you can while still being able to, you know, maybe pen him, especially when you're fighting something that doesn't have a lot of armor. Is absolutely fine. If that was like an E100 that bounced or missed, then yeah, you might as well not shoot at all. But things like Prius is rather nice. Now we're running out of time here with 2 minutes left, and the Gorilla gets spotted there now, which is like super weird. I did not expect that at all, and Snooze picks him up as well. Snooze is a one-shot, and so am I. Obviously a very big gun in the Gorilla. And I start loading the 2 HE shells that I have. So basically, it's putting the gorilla between me and Snooze here. Shoot on the move again and start to move right away, because you can see him turn, and he actually fired and missed. But you know, in hairy situations like that, just like it's HE, it's a gorilla. Even if it doesn't like pen him, it will do some damage, maybe track him or something like that. It's better to just get away alive than to like manually aim and all that shit. So, you know, a lot of people always say like auto aim is like super noob or something, but it's actually really useful in a lot of situations. So the SDA2 manages to finally go up to A2. They've been struggling to basically fight for that A line with all those TDs there. And there's only SDRV left. So we got 1 minute 30. I'm just like, go. We just need to like kill him, because even capping gets a little bit unlikely. And we knew that the SDRV got very lit up in the beginning of the game by me, so he's on like 300 or so health. I could take one hit as well, so I'm just gonna go in, do the damage. Auto aim again on a whim. Actually managed to track him as well, and almost getting the kill shot there, but the E1 manages to take it off there. So that was obviously a really lucky shot. You know, getting to the side of him and shooting. If you shoot him at frontally, it probably would have bounced because of the low caliber as well. But overall, a really solid game here. We can take a look actually at the post-game stats. A lot of people always want to see that. So obviously an ace here. Team score 14-65. Very nice game here, being, you know, a fairly competitive matchmaking here with tier 9s and 10s as well. There were obviously, you know, a bunch of regular tier 8s, but even those were kind of, you know, hard to deal with, like an IS3 and stuff like that. We managed to actually almost make 10k credits still, even shooting all that APCR. Again, the APCR thing is just, it annoys me, because like a lot of the time, even the sides of tanks, 175 is just not enough, and you get harsher matchmaking than a bulldog. So it's just like, what are we doing here? So I was kind of hoping that would change, but so far all the super test info that's coming out from Wargaming kind of suggests that these things will just be a tier 9 with almost no changes, except for I think they get a little bit more health. If you guys actually want to see like a report on the new scout tanks at tier 9 and 10, do let me know in the comment section below. I can just you know, talk over the things and the stats that we have seen, and just give you guys my thoughts on it. Might be a cool idea for a video. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Let me know in the comment section below. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, maybe check out more videos. Thanks a lot for tuning in as always, boys. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in, and peace out.